previous Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Board of County Commissioners. And just in case some of you don't know, today is Red Sweater Day at the Commission. One of us did not comply. Anyway, let's say the pledge and keep moving.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As I stated, I am Candace Payne, the chair. Yeah, this meeting and one other. To my left is Commissioner Tom Rolfe. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Jeremy.
And to his left is Brandy Granby, who made the arrangements for the Red Sweater Day. Morning, Brandy.
Morning.
To my left, or to my right, the man in a fancy necktie, Andy Hunthausen, County Commissioner Extraordinaire. And to his right is Roger Balls, the CAO of our whole little group. Good morning, Roger. We have a sign-in sheet in front of the table, or front of the chamber, along with an agenda, should you care to have one. It appears that we have no consent action items. So we'll just move into the 3A action item, which is a professional services contract amendment number 2 between Lewis and Clark County and Sanbell, formerly known as Sanderson Stewart, presented to us by the widely renowned Dan Karlin.
Good morning, Chair Payne, Commissioners. For the record, I'm Dan Karlin, County Engineer. In July of 2024, Lewis and Clark County awarded a contract to Sanderson Stewart, now Sanbell, to design roundabout improvements to the Custer-Henderson intersection. The project encompasses the entire intersection and accommodates future fairground growth. The project is nearing completion, but it will not meet the amended contract end date of December 31st, 2025. This project is in cooperation with Lewis and Clark County Fairgrounds, and it utilizes American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, grant funds for the work. Before you today is contract amendment number 2, which changes the contract end date from December 31st, 2025 to June 1st, 2026. This amendment does not alter the contract price from the original $207,204.80. Staff recommends the approval of amendment number 2 with Sanbell and authorize the chair to sign. Questions you may have. And Commissioner would like to see the picture on the screen.
Thank you. I appreciate the map. And so the design, and only the design, will be finished by June 1st, 2026. Is that correct?
Chair Payne, Commissioners, that is correct.
And so that poor man was out there directing traffic at our fair last year, who was trying not to get run over because there was a baseball game, baseball field. Same night we were having a big rodeo and show at the fairgrounds, and traffic was horrendous. So we're still going to have to deal with that next year.
Chair Payne, Commissioners, yes. This a project like this takes a decent amount of funding, and that's currently being worked on, trying to figure out how this will be funded.
Okay, we do the best we can. All right, is there any comment from the rest of the commission?
Chair Payne,
Go ahead.
Andy?
just along those lines, just so people know, this was essentially the plan. We talked about partnering with the city. We did a larger project in the fairground and neighborhood, and part of working together with them in our ARPA funds, we agreed to try to get this project to the design phase so that it would be quote unquote shovel ready. So that when funding was available, either funding that we could gather and save, or from partners or from grants, that we would be ready to go and have that design in our pocket. That essentially correct.
Chair Payne, Commissioner Hunhausen, that's correct. So, a project like this, like I mentioned, it's quite expensive. And it's gonna take a combination of funding sources and funding partners to get this done. We're currently searching for an avenue to get that done. Essentially, this will become city property once it's completed, so, they're definitely heavily involved in that discussion as well, and we're just kind of working through that.
Yes, and
And as we kind of talked before the meeting, you'll have to meet all city standards. There's a lot of stuff under this intersection as well. Utilities as well as drainage. Mention that it's complicated, more complicated.
Absolutely, Chair Payne, Commissioner Hunhausen. So the image you have up here is just an overview and showing the surface improvements. This doesn't show any of the utilities. So it's not showing you the stormwater movement. But there is a significant amount of stormwater we have to deal with through here. It all has to be in compliance with the city's stormwater master plan. And a piece of that stormwater master plan is wetlands have to be, they have to continue to receive their historic amount of water flow during an event. And that is a kind of a complicated calculation that's done to achieve that. And each quadrant of this northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, they all have to have that same water flow happening. They all have a different input coming into them, and as you can, well, you probably can't see it on here, but the southeast quadrant is a pretty extensive wetland area right now, and making sure that continues to get that amount of water is necessary. And then also that northeast quadrant also has a wetland that's been defined in there. So making sure that those have the appropriate amount of water getting to them to perpetuate those wetlands is important. And also dealing with the additional hard surface that we're putting in here is important as well. You know, if you expand the hard surface area, you also have the opportunity for spills and sediments and things of that nature, which also has to be dealt with. So we're just making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and this is as compliant with this city's master plan as possible, as well as any DEQ requirements and things of that nature. So thank you.
Tom?
And just one of the things that I think people get confused about on this area is a state road, a city street, a county road, and how does that, you kind of explain how that all kind of breaks out?
Chair Payne, Commissioner Roth, thank you for that question. So this is all, Custer Avenue is a city street. It is on the urban system, which means that the state has kind of ultimate, I don't want to say authority, but projects within the urban system have to be approved by the Transportation Commission. And all the projects within the urban system have to comply with NDT requirements and reviews. So we completed that. We've been in the Transportation Commission. This project has been approved by the Transportation Commission. The city has been heavily involved in our review here because it will become their asset in the end once this is completed. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, I think the complication that we see of whose authority and who's really responsible for coming up with money, and so it sort of sounds like the city is in that boat, but we'd like to help.
Chair Payne, Commissioner Wall, that's a little bit more complicated of a question than I can fully answer for you. Because it's on the urban system, it's eligible for urban funds, and all of this has been designated as the top priority for those funds through originally the PCC, Transportation Community Council, and more recently the NBO, Metropolitan Planning Organization. So this corridor falls within that jurisdictional group, the NPO. So they're able to designate funds for this project or other projects within the Custer corridor from North Montana west to this intersection.
Thank you.
Chair Payne.
Roger, yes.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. You've already touched on this a little bit, but again, just to reiterate, Custer Avenue and Henderson are city street. Basically, streets, this project is for design only. No construction funds have been identified as yet as we speak here today. And commissioners, just as a reminder, the county commissioners approved the use of ARPA money, ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act money, to do this design work. And we entered into a partnership many months ago with the city of Helena, whereby we are doing this design work. And in exchange, they assisted us extensively with the repaving work that was done throughout the fairgrounds, which is largely complete now. There's a little bit of chip seal that Mr. Tenney has in mind a few months from now to wrap that project up as well. Thank you.
One last question. So who, now I know this is just for the plan, but between now and whenever they get it done, who has the responsibility of keeping this corner plowed?
Chair Payne, commissioners, I believe that would be the city of,
Okay, as long as it gets plowed, we get a lot of harassment about certain streets not being plowed appropriately. Okay, are there any further questions? Is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, I would entertain a motion.
Chair Payne, I would move to approve professional services contract amendment number 2 between Lewis and Clark County, Sanbell, formerly known as Sanderson Stewart, as explained by Dan Karlin.
Second. Been moved and seconded that we approve action item 3A as described by Dan Karlin. Is there any further discussion from the commission? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving this action item 3A indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. We have now come to the part of our agenda for any public comment on any public matter within the jurisdiction of the commission that is not on the agenda above.
Chair Payne,
Are you part of the public?
I would just like to make a little comment here at the end of the year.
Okay.
About how thankful I am of being able to work with you two and work with the wonderful staff we have. There are not very many places in the public sector that has the support of their staff the way we have. And I just think we need to acknowledge that and thank them all. Wishing you everyone a Merry Christmas, and we'll be back for one more meeting, I guess, before the new year.
Correct. Okay, thank you, Tom. Anything?
Chair Payne, just Merry Christmas. Ditto.
Merry and safe Christmas, yeah. And may we remember the reason for the season. Thank you all. This meeting is adjourned.